Hello knitters, it's Fay Lim from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California, and I'm unable to make a video today, so I'm doing an Encore tutorial on how to mark up your pattern and things that you need to know about your pattern before you start knitting it, so you're able to have more success and don't just pass over some of the things that are in there that sometimes we just pass right over. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. The upcoming hat class is this coming Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30. The pattern link is below underneath the YouTube or in the emailer, and I hope to see you there. So patterns have, there's a language. You do need to learn how to read them, but you can start very simple. There's some very simple patterns that you start with just have a couple things that you do, and you just slowly over time, it's a language, it's a whole language. And so you slowly over time, start to be able to read all the different symbols and what these words mean and that kind of thing. But there is also a way to get your pattern ready to knit so that you end up not missing things in your pattern. You can do it. Just the thought processes that go behind picking patterns. Now, I'm not going to go into too much about picking patterns for sweaters or fitted things, because that's a lot about that's about yarn substitution actually. So I'm not going to talk about that so much because that's a whole other thing. But this is just like a pattern. You've got the yarn, you've got the yarn that the pattern's called for. So you know the yarn's good, and you just need to now figure out how to read this pattern. So the first thing, while you're looking for patterns, there's places to look for patterns like Instagram, Pinterest, Etsy, and of course Ravelry. And they all have patterns, free patterns, paid patterns. So finding the pattern. So then, if possible, and it is possible on Ravelry, and it's very rare that there isn't a pattern, you might find it on Etsy or Pinterest or something. You get the name of the pattern, it's probably on Ravelry too. So go into Ravelry and look at the people's projects who have knitted this pattern, and see what it looks like on real life people and how the knitting up goes and stuff. You learn a lot by looking at what real people did with the pattern and how it fits on them. And then you can find people with your body shape and see how does it fit on them and what they did. And so looking at the projects is huge way of eliminating or picking out patterns. Because there'll be patterns I love, and then I look at and nobody's looks good. I'm like, okay, this pattern is no. And then there's some patterns that, everybody looks good in it. This is a great pattern. It looks good on pretty much everybody, as long as they knit it correctly and, yeah. So finding your pattern. So then the next thing, after you got the visual done, you need to read the description and see what it says about it, because a lot of times they go very much in, this is top down, raglan, so no seaming except maybe the underarms, with ease. This pattern wants 10 inches of ease. This pattern needs to be no ease, like body form, or negative ease, where it actually, comes in on your body. There'll be a difficulty range from easy to very difficult. So where does it fall in there? Reading through the projects and seeing if anybody had issues. Oh my God, I could not figure this out, or it took me forever to figure this out, and things like that. So read the description, because it will tell you a lot about what's going on. Then if you finally decide, okay, I want this one, I got the yarn that goes with that pattern, or I know I have a substitute yarn that's going to go with this pattern, and it's all good. Then you need to print out the pattern, and you're going to make some highlights. Okay, so here I have a really simple free baby pattern, pullover pattern, and I'm just going to go over some of these things about patterning that you want to pay attention to when you're starting a new pattern. So this particular one has all the information about where the pattern comes from, especially since it's a free pattern. Up here, the name of the pattern, name of the designer, and then you have materials. And this one's actually laid out pretty well, so there's some that aren't laid out as well as this, but since this is for like a beginning knitter, they were kind. So materials, you need a cascade yarn that's worsted weight, which is a worsted aran, which is sort of a medium weight yarn. And you need this skein. The skein comes with 240 yards per skein. So with that, you need 1, 2, or 3, depending on what size you're going to use. So the yardage is important because that tells you you need that many yards. So like if you're using a different, ooh, that's smeared. If you're using a different yarn that has only like 120 yards on a skein, you'll need more skeins because you'll need, we'll round that up to 250. So that's 500 yards basically is what you need. And so if it has 120, you'll need 4 skeins instead of 2. So, so that you want the yardage. This particular one is all acrylic. And yeah, so that tells you how much. Now sizing is down here and has 1, 2, 3, 4 sizes. So approximate age 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. And that gives you a chest measurement. Here's the thing with doing baby stuff. You always make it bigger than you make it the bigger size. So if it's, I don't make anything 0 to 6 because they grow out that. So I would start at 6 to 12. And 12 months, of course, is the same as 1 year. So if they're already like, 9 months, I would be making the 1 to 2 year. So you always upsize. They can always wear something a little big, roll up sleeves, whatever, and they can wear it longer. So always upsize your baby patterns. And then the gauge is 20 stitches equals 4 inches in stockinette, which is knit a row, purl a row. That is a very typical worsted weight gauge. And we're on a size, did it tell us? Yes, it did tell us, sorry. We need a set of 7 to 8. So this depends on your gauge. And again, babies also, you don't have to be as exact about gauge if you're going to make it bigger. So you can just use the 7 or the 8 and like the fabric it's getting, make the bigger size, you're good. Unlike an adult sweater, this gauge thing really matters. And a 16 or 24 inch circular needle. And then you need 3 buttons, 1/2 to 3/4 inches. Okay, so that's the supplies you need. These are the sizes we have. There's your gauge. And then here's your stitch dictionary. So these are the stitches you'll need to know. And these are the abbreviations for the stitches that will be in this pattern. So you got knit into the front and back of the same stitch. Now, if you ever get to one of these KFB, you can put into YouTube KFB knitting, and so it'll come up with somebody showing you how to do it. So if you're like, if you don't know what that is. Place a marker, PM, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2 stitches together, 2 by 2 ribbing, and knit 2, purl 2. Okay, so that's the stitch dictionary. Those are the stitches you need to know how to do and know what that means to knit this sweater. Okay, then, yeah, it almost fits my camera. This sweater, this is your description. Okay, this sweater is worked flat, back and forth on circular needles to start with, and all sizes are worked identically for quite a while. So there's not much difference in the sizing. They all start the same. So there's only one cast on, that is sort of unusual to have one cast on. Usually if you've got a bunch of different sizes, you have a different cast on. But you cast on is 62 stitches. You're going to knit 3 rows. So right now, nothing's too terribly, I might go, okay, cast on just so that I can find it and I don't have to go looking for it again. And then you're going to do knit 3 rows, and then you're going to do this where it's knit 13, place a marker, PM, place a marker, knit 9, place a marker, knit 18, place a marker, knit 9, place a marker, knit 13. And she actually sort of tells you how you've lined what these sections are. So the knit 13, there's 13 slashes there. That's the front of the sweater. This is the arm or the shoulder. This is the back. This is the arm. This is the front. And those are your 4 markers. Okay. And then buttonhole row. Now, buttonhole rows are important. There are actually 3 buttons on this. So you want to make sure you don't miss buttonhole rows. So, and then you follow this and knit to 2 stitches, repeat at each of the 4 stitch markers. So this is your increase row. You're going to repeat this part. Knit to 2 stitches before the marker, knit front and back, knit 1, slip the marker, knit front and back. And you keep repeating that all 4 markers until you're all 4 markers, okay? I'm not going to go too much. It's hard for me just to not explain this to you while we're doing it. And then the next row is knit 4, purl to the 4 stitches to the end and knit 4, okay? Then you're going to repeat rows 2, rows 3, rows 2. Okay, the other thing I didn't, so far we don't have anything different in the sizing. But we're going to pretend like we're doing the 6 to 12 months. So that's what we're looking for. So far, we have no differences, as she said. Okay, work these 6 rows a total of 3 times. So this is a repeat of these 6 rows 3 times. And so I might go ahead and put a 1, a 2, and a 3 here so that I can cross them out when I'm done. So as soon as I do this 6, I'd cross out the 1, and then I'd do it again, I'd cross out the 2, do it again, and cross out the 3. Okay? And now the sweater will be knitting around. So you'll be doing this by using the last 4 stitches of the row, la 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 la. And she actually does this right here instead of highlighting, but you could still highlight underneath it. Make sure you get what she says now. Sweater is now joined in the round with the button band marking the beginning in each round. Okay, then you're gonna knit. Okay, now for the first time we have sizing. Okay, so anytime you see a string of numbers like this and a parentheses, those are for different sizes. So now we'll go back here to the size. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sizes. My camera, no, I'm not. 1, 2, 3, 4 sizes. We're doing size, the second size. Here's the parentheses. So this is the first one outside the parentheses. So we're the size, the first size inside the parentheses, or the second size in the string. So here's the first size is the 4. There's the parentheses. So we're knitting the 6. So whatever that is, 6 times. We're going to, and that's what you're going to sit and highlight. It is really, as I said, this is sort of easy, but when you get big, long strings of numbers, please highlight them. Also, by highlighting at least this right here, you will remember what size you're making, because sometimes you go, oh, wait, what size was I making? If you put it down for like a couple months and pick it up, oh, what size am I making? Okay, so at least mark the size you're making at the beginning of the sweater. But I would go, anytime there's strings of numbers, I would be marking them. Even sometimes they're for inches and inches and not stitches. This is how many times you're going to repeat something, and we should have 48 stitches at the end. Okay, now separate for sleeves. That's a new section. Okay, and knit into the marker waste yarn. I won't explain that right now. Knit your 3rd stitch. So you just are going to read this and do it as you read it. And then knit sweater body. So knit every round until sweater measures, and here's our numbers. So we're on the 9.5 inches. Okay, so we're on 9.5 inches. And then you're going to work 8 rounds. So again, by 2 by 2 ribbing. So I might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have my 8 rounds here mapped out for me, so that I can then just, cross them off as I do it. And then 8 rounds of 2 by 2 ribbing. Okay, bind off, excuse me, bind off your stitches. Okay, then we're going back to the sleeves. So now we gotta go pick up the sleeves. And you're gonna pick up 2 to 4 stitches in the armpit, close the hole, join the yarn, knit into the round. And again, here's our string of numbers for inches. So we're doing that until we've got 2.5 inches from the armpit. And then we're gonna again work 8 rounds of ribbing. So then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds of ribbing. And then you'll do the same thing for the second sleeve. And then you will weave in ends and do all that stuff, and you're done. Hooray! Put it on the baby quick before they stop letting you dress them. So this is an extremely simple pattern, but that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about when you have to do the highlighting of the different things that are going on in your pattern. And, you read through that now, and now you're like, okay, I'm sort of ready to, start this and get it going. And I can at least do cast on 62 and knit 3 rows. I know I can do that. And then I know I can knit 13, place a marker, knit 9, I know I can do that. And then a buttonhole, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over. Okay, I might have to look up that if I'm a new knitter and I don't quite understand that. But just go, knit 2 together, yarn over into YouTube, and it'll be there. Or come to a class, obviously. You can always come to a class. And then knit 2 stitches, I can do that. So there you go. So that's how you would mark up a pattern. This is a very simple pattern, but that gives you the basis of how you would mark up a pattern. And let me pull out a chart real quick, and I'll show you that one too. Okay, so here's a simple little cable pattern. I can't get the whole page on at one time. So here is the key to the cable pattern. And I'm gonna have to take this off. My arm here is too fixed. So anyways, here's the key to the pattern. And as you see, it shows you the sign symbol, and then it tells you what to do. So like this green one at the top is slip 1 to cable needle to back, knit 2 on the left needle, purl from cable needle. Okay, and you have 4 of them. And then that's a knit and purl. These are for knits and purls only. And here is your cable pattern. So you'll be knitting along, row 1 down here. You always start in the lower right-hand corner, knitting along. You hit the green one. You go down here to the bottom where the green is, and it tells you what to do, okay? Then you're gonna immediately do a pink one, and now you go to the pink one, and it tells you what to do. And then you're purling, purling, purling. Then you got the green, the pink, the green, the pink. So see the whole line here, and if you'll notice, and lots of times this happens with cables, is there's a rhythm here. You know, you have a bunch of green ones, a bunch of pink, green, pink, green, pink. So you sort of get used to this. Matter of fact, this whole thing is green and pink, except for these 2 purple and these 3 yellow. And do you see that? And then over here, it switches. It's green and pink here, and it goes green and pink. Green and pink is the opposite over here. Okay, so that's how you would mark it up, though, because if it's not marked up, the symbols sort of all blend together, and it's hard sometimes to go, oh, what is that one? But as soon as you mark it up, it becomes really clear what's happening. And lace will do the same thing. Maybe not quite so dramatic as a cable is, because cabling is so geometrical, but you do get a rhythm to the pattern, and you can sort of catch what's happening in the pattern way more than you could ever do in written, if it was just written instructions, or if you hadn't marked it up. Because if I hadn't marked this up, you would not visually be able to get what's happening here as quickly as we could get it because we marked it up. So marking up any of your charts is a really, really good idea. And then once you're ready to go, then you're just going to cast on. You've highlighted your pattern. You've got all the little transition parts out so you don't just whip right through them. And you're ready to start your pattern. And hopefully you'll have a good success with it. Not 100% guaranteed. Nothing about knitting is 100% guaranteed. But you're armed to have the best experience you can have with your pattern.